Take me home. Take me home.
What is up, y'all? It's Dr. Dime. I'm back today with yet another video. If you're watching this, first of all, congratulations, because you're probably getting ready for your residency interviews, or you might have already had a few done, but you feel like you could have done a few things better. So that's what I'm here for. Today, we're getting into some real talk about the do's and don'ts of your residency interviews. These interviews can seriously make or break your ranking list. So let's make sure you're showing up as your best self. The do's. What to absolutely do during your interview. Do be yourself, but the professional version. You don't have to be all robotic, this ain't that. But you also don't want to be too casual, slouched over, like you're talking to your friends. Kind of like I'm talking to you right now. That's not how you want to be doing your interviews. You want your posture to be, hello, good day, sir. Good day, sir. Programs are really just trying to figure out if you're someone that they wouldn't mind working with at 3 a.m. when they're on call. So smile, show personality, and let your passion come through. Number two, do your homework. Absolutely. If you are interviewing at a place, you should know at least the basics about said place. You don't want it to come off as you're just knocking off another spot on your list, right? You want to have done your research. You should know at least the basics about the program. Are they opposed? Are they unopposed? What kind of things do they offer in their program? What is the culture of the city like? It's so easy to just Google quickly whatever city that your residency program or your possible future residency program is going to be in. Google, figure out the size of the town, figure out what the locals are like, right? Figure out a little bit about the culture, because not only will that help you during your interview to have talking points, but it'll also help you to know if that's a place that you even want to be in. You don't want to waste your time, and you also don't want to waste your interviewer's time. Do dress professionally, even if it's virtual. And by professional dress, I do mean the entire dress, head to toe. Because sometimes things happen and you may need to adjust your camera, you may need to get up. And I would hate for you to get up and all you have on is boxer briefs. No. That not only will be awkward, but it will also present as you did not come prepared.
19 out of the 12th precinct.
All right. Today is, you got some pants on, officer?
Sir, they're in the. No, sir.
A virtual interview is just as important as an in person interview, so treat it as such. I've also found that when you do this, you do feel more prepared and you feel more interview ready because you're mocking real life situations and real life scenarios. So you don't want to be too casual. Too casual is not good. Not in the sense of talking, not in the sense of dressing. Just show out. It's your only time that you'll ever have your residency interview. So put on your fit. Put on the shoes. Put on the glasses. Put on the blazer. If you want me to make a separate video about what kind of things are appropriate as far as professional attire goes for these types of things, just let me know. I don't mind doing it. I love to do it. Please somebody comment that so I could just have a reason to make it. But you know what? I might make it anyway because this is free will and I have it. Do have questions ready. Formulate at least 2 to 3 questions for each interview. So when you get to the interview and the interviewer asks you, so do you have any questions? Your answer should never be no. It should never be no. You should have a couple questions in the back of your pocket. Because if you don't, then it does come off as you were not interested.
55 tacos, 55 pies, 55 cokes, 100 tater tots, 100 pizzas, 100 tenders, 100 meatballs, 100 coffees, 55 wings, 55 shakes, 55...
Okay, you didn't know what you were getting yourself into, and quite frankly, you don't care if you get accepted there or not. And that's not good. That doesn't look good to the interviewer, and it shouldn't look good to you as the interviewee either. So just have a few, and have a few backup as well, just in case your questions get answered throughout the interview. Maybe you can have one that's super specific that you don't think will be answered. just always be prepared in that regard. I feel like it adds a little razzle dazzle. Do practice, but don't memorize. You can always tell when someone is going off of a script versus when they're just talking and when they're being themselves. Which one do you think will be more authentic? Yes, it's going to be the version of you that is yourself. So have little bullet points in your mind. Think of it like an outline, right? When you have an outline, you're not directly reading from anything, but you have your talking points. You know what you're going to say, but exactly what you say may vary depending on your mood. That comes off as more authentic and more genuine. Trust me. And if you have a virtual interview, just a little side tip from when I did interviews in medical school. If you have a virtual interview, do not read off of a paper that is on the screen, like next to you. So you have your interviewer here, you have your paper that you've created all your answers for here. Please don't read off of that because we can tell. Speaking from whenever I interviewed people that were trying to get into medical school, I could tell.
Oh.
Now let's talk about what not to do, because these things can throw off your interview, whether you realize it or not. Don't talk bad about programs or other people. Even if you had a rough experience somewhere, keep it positive. You don't want the perception of you to be tainted by things that you're saying about other programs, because that program may say, hey, well, are they going to talk about us? Are they going to talk about little old me? And even if the experience was 100% valid, right? I know that things happen, but just try to keep it positive on your interview. There's no need to bring in negativity because that can taint the perception of you. Don't overtalk. If you catch yourself rambling, which sometimes I even ramble, pause. Give yourself some time to breathe, think about the next question, and give your interviewer a chance to engage with you a bit. If you're talking the whole time, then they can't really engage with you. It's good to be talkative if you are a talkative person, but just make sure that you kind of balance it. Don't forget to smile. Ding. It's simple, but facial expressions matter, especially when you're doing these virtual interviews, because people can't really get that vibe in person of how you really are. So you have to let your personality shine, even to the camera, like I'm trying to do right now. I hope it's working. But no, facial expressions are super important, whether you're in person or on camera, but especially on camera. Don't wait until the last minute to test your tech. Sometimes computers are not reliable, so make sure you have your plan A and your plan B. Whenever I did my interviews, I tested 1, 2, and 3, and I actually had I would have my laptop and I had my iPad as well ready to go. So that way, in case one of those failed, I would have a backup. And guess what? During one of my interviews for residency, my first interview for residency, that actually happened. My laptop was not working, but thankfully I had my iPad and I had to complete my interviews on Thalamus on my iPad. But if I hadn't had that backup, then I don't know what I would have done. I would have probably had to try to rush and go find somebody else, because I was at school doing it. But I would have had to rush and go find a classmate to let me use a laptop. And that wouldn't have been good, because then I probably would have missed one of my interviews in the midst of figuring all this out. So I would highly, highly recommend to have you 2 sources that you can do your interviews from, and download your interview source on your phone as well, because even though you may not want to, you can complete interviews on your phone too. Just put it in landscape mode, but just have that backup, please, because technology is not reliable, speaking from personal experience. And lastly, do not force yourself. If it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. If they don't like who you are, they don't like who you are, but be who you are. Do not try to fit into a box or fit into what you think a program wants, because 9 times out of 10, they can tell that you're lying. You know that you're lying. It's just not a good situation. Okay, and time for a bonus tip. You can always send an email or even a little card after your interviews to just let people know that you're thankful that you interviewed with them. It also shows that you're very interested in the program, and I feel like it's a nice little gesture. I did try to do this for most of the programs I interviewed at, especially the ones where I really had a true interest, and I think that it added a little. Don't forget to breathe. You made it this far, and you'll make it even further. I'm here if you need me. Best of luck on your journey. Bye.